Okay, you know New York, unique New York, you know you need unique New York. She makes a proper cup of coffee and a copper coffee parchment.
Well, well.
Whoa, little help here. No, a lot of help.
What the f? What?
I don't think the writers understand Johnny Cage very well, which is odd because he's been around since the very first game. And yet, even so, most writers mess up the most important aspect of his character. However, the one thing worse than bad writing is blue lighting. Blue light is absolutely everywhere in our day-to-day lives. If you're a fan of mine, then you likely play video games a lot, and guess what? That emits blue light. And you likely also spend a lot of time on social media. Well, guess what? That phone screen, blue light. Your computer monitor, that's got blue light too, which is an issue because blue light is actually harmful to your eyes. It can cause headaches, it can make your eyes itchy or dry, it can give you sleep problems, all that annoying stuff. In fact, blue light is a super villain for me personally because despite my channel size, I don't have an editor, I make my own thumbnails, so I am constantly staring at my screen, whether it's video games or my own computer monitor or checking on social media with my phone, and all the while that blue light is being beamed directly into my eyeballs, making my life worse. But now my battle with blue light is a thing of the past because I found GMG Performance eyeglasses. These bad boys protect you from blue light, which means less eye strain, your eye reflexes actually increase, you can improve your concentration, and they help maintain the quality of your vision, and perhaps best of all, they help you sleep better because once again, blue light keeps you up, but that's not a problem as long as you wear these bad boys. I've been personally testing these glasses for about a week now, and I'm already sleeping better, my eyes aren't dry or itchy anymore, and I even have less headaches, which is nice because I no longer have to buy Tylenol. And right now is the best time to get your hands on one of these eyeglasses because they are offering a 40% discount for the next 48 hours only, so you have to act fast. Use my link down below to get these eyeglasses for almost half off. Your eyeballs are very important, so stop letting blue light abuse them. Get yourself some GMG Performance eyeglasses today. I highly recommend them. To truly understand Johnny Cage, we have to look at his inspiration, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Believe it or not, Mortal Kombat was originally a game about this famous action star, which is why Johnny Cage uses so many of his moves and dresses exactly like Jean-Claude Van Damme did in Bloodsport, aside from the awesome sunglasses.
Johnny Cage wins. Flawless victory.
Oh yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme was absurdly popular around the time Mortal Kombat was being made. Action movies were a very big deal at the time, and Jean-Claude Van Damme was easily one of the most famous actors in that period. And ironically enough, Van Damme actually plays Guile in the Street Fighter movie, which is funny because not only is Van Damme not American, but he never inspired characters in Street Fighter. And to make things more ironic, he never appears in a Mortal Kombat movie, despite directly inspiring one of the main characters from the original game. However, unlike most action heroes, Jean-Claude Van Damme was not an actor first, he actually began his career as a fighter. The guy had a pretty impressive kickboxing career, and he took part in other fighting competitions as well, not just kickboxing. Now, he wasn't undefeated because he is human. Most people lose every now and then, but even so, his record is pretty impressive if you ask me. Plus, if you watch the movies, you can tell he practices punching and kicking a lot, and in this way, Jean-Claude Van Damme is very similar to Chuck Norris, a natural fighter who became a celebrity afterwards. Despite both of these people being very popular Hollywood celebrities, they began their career as fighting experts, and they were just so good at fighting that they became celebrities afterwards, and a bunch of agents threw themselves at their feet and wanted to make movies about them. However, believe it or not, a lot of average people did not know this and thought they were just celebrities, so they would challenge people like Chuck Norris to fights randomly in the streets, only to quickly have their bodies bruised and broken afterwards. Once again, these two actors were fighters first and became celebrities after, and it should be the same case for Johnny Cage because he is based on Jean-Claude Van Damme. However, the writers don't seem to grasp this, and a good example is Scorpion's Revenge.
This thing better not go straight to video.
When Baraka attacks Johnny Cage, he's confused and thinks that he's on set, he tries to run away, call for a timeout, all this stuff, and it just doesn't make sense with his character. Now, I understand this scene is meant to be comedic and it's played for laughs, but Johnny Cage was a fighter long before he became an actor, so he should know what a fight looks like when someone jumps him. And because he spent his whole life fighting, if anything, he looks forward for a free chance to throw hands. He would be excited when Baraka attacked him because he can actually attack somebody and say it's self-defense. If a pro fighter challenges somebody else to a scrap, it's frowned upon big time because they're a pro fighter, but if somebody else attacks them first, all bets are off, and at that point it becomes self-defense. You can throw hands at them. So once again, Johnny Cage should be excited that Baraka is attacking him, especially since Baraka is using weapons. That means all bets are off, and Johnny Cage can use lethal force, all the attacks that he normally doesn't get to use on regular people. Even though these kind of things don't happen very much in real life, I can only imagine what would happen to you if you walked up to a pro fighter and then pulled a weapon on them. So once again, this scene just doesn't make sense, not only for pro fighters, but because Johnny Cage is inspired by Jean-Claude Van Damme, and this guy was crazy when it came to fights. And if you don't believe me, there's actually a great real-life example. Jean-Claude Van Damme once stalked another action star named Steven Seagal to every single party, and you might be asking why. Well, it's because he overheard that Steven Seagal bragged about being able to beat him in a fight, and Van Damme's not having that. You don't get to just brag about beating him in a fight. This guy had a kickboxing career and other professional fighting careers. You can't claim to beat him in a fight unless you actually prove it in a real fight. So yeah, Van Damme was following Steven Seagal to every single party that guy went to and would challenge him to a fight whenever he saw him. However, unfortunately, Steven Seagal always had an excuse, or he snuck out before Van Damme could find him. But my point is, Van Damme looked forward to fighting, and if you claimed you could beat him in a fight, he would follow you and ask you to prove it in person. And that's why this one scene in Scorpion's Revenge makes no sense to me. I get it's meant to be funny, but I think Johnny Cage would say something more close to this. Finally, I get to punch something. All this walking around was getting dull. Alright, ugly, let's see what you got. Now, thankfully, MK9 actually handles this fight much better, but it still has Johnny Cage acting too Hollywood. After winning the fight, he tries to refer Baraka to his agent for an upcoming movie, which is somewhat in character, but I think it's even more likely that Johnny Cage would ask who trained Baraka how to fight. Or he may even offer his own trainer to Baraka to make him even better at fighting because he respects his ability. Once again, Johnny Cage was a fighter first and became a celebrity after, so when he beats somebody in a fight, he's likely going to talk about fighting, not Hollywood stuff. However, you can still make use of the Hollywood side of Johnny Cage when he talks to Sonya immediately afterwards, because that's when he would use his Hollywood status to put the moves on her. Hey cutie, wanna be in my next movie? I could make you a star and change your life forever. I could definitely see Johnny Cage and Van Damme both saying a line like that. I mean, after all, Van Damme did brag about sleeping with the Cammy actress from the Street Fighter movie. However, I do believe she denies that ever happened, so at least the writers got that part right about Johnny Cage. Just like Van Damme, he comes on too strong and doesn't have the best luck with the ladies.
And I'm taking you down, I'm taking you down, I'm taking you out, I'm taking you out, and I'm taking you out for dinner.
So the Hollywood angle of Johnny Cage's character can be very fun, but it always has to be secondary. But unfortunately, the next movie is even worse for Johnny Cage, Battle of the Realms. It has Johnny Cage doing acting ad-lib before his fight with D'Vorah, and originally I liked this scene because I thought it added to his character. He wasn't just making bad jokes, he was acting like a Hollywood actor, so he wasn't just one-dimensional. And if you were an actor who then became a fighter afterwards, then you likely would use what you know to center yourself. You would do acting stuff to get yourself ready for something new, and in this case, that's fighting. However, once again, that's backwards because Johnny Cage is not an actor who learned to fight. He's a fighter first who then starred in action movies because he was a great fighter. And as a result, it makes no sense why he would use acting to center himself before a fight. Fighting is what he knows more than acting. So once again, this scene makes no sense. On the surface, it seems okay, and I do appreciate the character moment for Johnny Cage, but unfortunately, it is backwards. And as a result, this entire sequence makes no sense. And then losing to D'Vorah was just rubbing salt on the wound, and then having Sonya win later on was adding even more salt. Listen, I respect Sonya a ton, but she is nowhere near Johnny Cage's level. You could argue they're both equal at fighting, but Johnny Cage is supernatural. The guy can throw green fireballs and even envelop himself in this green energy to make his punches and kicks hurt that much more. Whereas Sonya Blade has to use technology if she wants to do anything close to that. So they're both good fighters, but Johnny Cage just has that supernatural element that gives him an edge. And honestly, there's so many more examples from the movies and video games that get this whole thing backwards. Johnny Cage is not an actor who also fights in his free time. The writers keep forgetting that Johnny Cage is a fighter first and an actor second. He didn't learn how to fight after becoming an actor. He became an actor because his fighting ability made him so famous that Hollywood agents were throwing themselves at his feet, begging to make movies about him. And once the Mortal Kombat writers understand this, Johnny Cage will finally get the stories he deserves. And to be fair, there is actually one game that does Johnny Cage the most justice, and that game is Mortal Kombat X. In this game, it's clear that Johnny Cage truly loves to fight, even in intense situations.
Damn,
But even so, he still finds time to sneak in movie references.
Gotta get back to the chopper.
Johnny Cage gets to be an amazing fighter, but he also makes the occasional joke that references Hollywood and his acting career. Not to mention, his fighting ability finally gets the respect it deserves. The guy goes toe-to-toe with Shinnok, fights Scorpion and Sub-Zero at the same time, all that incredible stuff. So overall, the Mortal Kombat X story mode has the best understanding of Johnny Cage's character. In fact, even his arcade ending is amazing, and it might be the best part, because this ending showcases how much Hollywood life has ruined Johnny Cage. We get to witness his battle against his addictions to alcohol and likely many other drugs. When you have that much money as a Hollywood celebrity, it's very easy to fall into this lifestyle. In fact, this exact same situation happened to Jean-Claude Van Damme himself. The man was a known addict when it came to drugs and alcohol and just that party lifestyle in general. And unfortunately, it had a very negative impact on his life. The guy looks way older than he actually is due to his addiction to drugs, alcohol, and all that sinful stuff. But thankfully, both Jean and Johnny had that one thing that pulled them from the brink: family. Cassie Cage changes Johnny Cage's life for the better. It's why he's so mature in Mortal Kombat 11 and even in Mortal Kombat X after the time skip.
This is what split us up in the first place. You disappear in your work. Never time for me and Cassie.
I had responsibilities.
There was a time when you cared more about your family than your job.
I absolutely adore this ending. I think it really understands Johnny Cage. He was a pro fighter before, and when you're a professional fighter, you can't be an addict to drugs and alcohol. It ruins your fighting ability. However, once you become famous and you make all that money and you're not fighting real fighters anymore, you can let yourself go and fall deep into the abyss of addiction. However, thankfully, Cassie Cage was there to remind him of the better man he could be. Overall, the writing for Johnny Cage isn't terrible, but he's still a very misunderstood character in the Mortal Kombat franchise. In almost every movie and every game's story mode, he's treated as an actor first who can kind of fight, instead of an incredible fighter who became a famous actor afterwards due to his fighting prowess. However, at least each new game continues to incorporate Jean-Claude Van Damme's real-life attacks, which is awesome because it shows the developers understand that Johnny Cage was inspired by this actor, at least to some extent. Even if the story mode doesn't always accurately reflect his character, the gameplay always has, because they keep referencing Jean-Claude Van Damme and his famous attacks. In fact, now that I think about it, Cassie Cage may have been inspired by Jean-Claude Van Damme's actual daughter, because she also became famous for fighting and can do the splits very well. I doubt any writers are watching this video, but in case any of you are, please remember that Johnny Cage is a fighter first and the Hollywood stuff is all secondary. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell. That way you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.